In the rolling countryside of the English East Midlands lies the sleepy village of Silverstone. Just over 70 miles north of London, there's been a settlement here since the Middle Ages. But for more than 60 years, Silverstone has been most famous for its race circuit, which hosts the final round of the 2009 Le Mans Series, with a big, knowledgeable and enthusiastic crowd expected for the closeout race of the series. 3 weeks earlier, the penultimate race of the championship was held at the Nürburgring in Germany. In hot and sunny conditions, the crowds packed the grandstands to see 40 of the world's top sports cars battling it out around the ring. It started well for Pescarolo, their car finding its way to the front, but the good news didn't last. It was soon in the pit garage needing repairs. Drama for the Colles Audi team, a massive accident for the number 15 car. At the front, the race was dominated by the Lola Aston Martins, boosted in number by a third 008 entry. That was crewed by Chris Buncombe and Stuart Hall. The LMP2 class was won by the Kiefel ASM team. Luc Alphonse-Aventure finished second to Labra in GT1, but it was enough to guarantee them the title, and Aston Martin claimed a 1-2-3 in the race.
100% Aston Martin.
Yeah, it's just a great feeling.
A great race at the Nürburgring set up some truly mouth-watering championship battles for Silverstone. We'll enjoy those in the next hour.
Thanks.
25 of the 105 drivers taking part in the Silverstone 1,000 kilometres were British, and many more live in the UK or have done so earlier in their careers. So this circuit has a special place in many of their hearts.
British team, all British drivers, you know, back at Silverstone. And, it's actually been a while since I've raced it. I think the last time was in British GT.
Every time we come here, it's fantastic. You know, we love racing here. I personally do. And I suppose you like it more when you win here, and I've won here for the last 2 years in LMS and won the championship here, so it brings back fond memories also.
Among the British drivers, 3 in Team LMT's Ginetta Zytek, with Lawrence Tomlinson joined by Formula One world champion Nigel Mansell and his son Greg.
We tested at Snetterton, and Nigel was really quick and absolutely astounded me with his pace. And Greg equally as quick, but an amazingly fit young man, which has been doing World Series by Renault, and he's fit for that. But he should be good for the endurance. So I think young Greg might end up carrying the 2 older boys.
Another new team, Team WFR, making its return to the series at Silverstone. Jodie Firth with Darren Manning and Warren Hughes.
It's been a long season not racing, so to actually come back it seems fitting that we come back here at Silverstone. Hopefully we can get a good result and go into the winter with a positive frame of mind, you know, ready for a full-on assault on the series again next year.
There was a newcomer in GT1, the Gigawave Aston Martin, with Peter Cox and Ryan Sharp behind the wheel. But the big story of the weekend would be the title battle. In the LMP1 class, a two-way fight between the number 16 Pescarolo and 007 Lola Aston Martin, with 5 drivers battling for individual honours.
Definitely. I mean, we had a really good result in Le Mans, 4th place, best petrol car, and so if we can get the title, would be great, and great result for me and for Aston Martin.
We have to win and then expected something on the Aston Martin. So the target today is to go, I would say, as quick as possible and try to win the race.
Based just a few miles from Silverstone, Aston Martin had the upper hand and the benefit of 3 cars, with 008 and 009 available to back up 007 if necessary.
We are there as a support role, of course, but you know, we've also got our own race to run, and you know, we'd love another complete Aston Martin podium, you know, as I say, from 3 weeks ago.
As the teams left the Nürburgring 3 weeks ago, there was also a two-way battle in the LMP2 category between the Racing Box Lola team and Kiefel ASM with their Ginetta Zytek. It was to be a tough task for the Lola squad, which would have needed to take pole and win, and hoping that the Ginetta didn't score any points. But Racing Box decided not to take part, gifting the P2 title to Miguel Amaral and Olivier Pla before the race even started. But that wasn't going to blunt their challenge. The car was lightning fast in testing.
Well, I think it removed a little bit of pressure for the team, for me, for Miguel. But well, at the end, you know, we have a job to do.
The GT1 title had already been won by the 72 Corvette, driven by Jus Goulart and Claret, and Silverstone saw the return of team boss Luc Alphon.
I feel very happy to be here back on the track. Not exactly on the track, but here in the paddocks, and then to be part of the party with the team. You know, I had a big crash, and very lucky to be here. You know, I'm only in one piece, and I can enjoy life, you know, a different way than before.
In the GT2 class, the 77 team Felbermeyer Proton Porsche, Richard Leeds and Mark Lee came to Silverstone 8 points ahead of the 92 JMW Ferrari of reigning champions Rob Bell and Gianmaria Bruni.
We win and get pole position, get the most points we can. It puts pressure. It does put pressure on the Porsche.
I mean, for sure it will be a tough race. I think JMW will be doing everything to beat us, and for us it's okay as long as we finish in 6th position.
Richard Leeds helped the 77 Porsche to a step closer to the GT2 title, scoring a point for pole in the GT2 class.
It's very important for us because we get the point, and we are close to win the championship, so we are more happy for this pole position than for others. But anyway, it's a 1,000-kilometer race, and tomorrow we have to do the job, and we try to finish the race without problems, and then it should be okay, we hope.
The JMW Ferrari would start second in class, with Patrick Pilet putting the IMSA Matmut Performance Porsche in 3rd spot. In the GT1 class, there was a battle at the front. Only 3 cars, but 3 different manufacturers. Pole went to Labre Competition Celine, revitalised with Laurent Groppi joining the team. The Frenchman, once again, setting the quick time.
It's a good thing. We will see tomorrow because the race is another thing. The car is easy for the tires, so we'll see tomorrow.
Aston Martin DBR9 of Gigawave driver Peter Cox was second quickest, the Luc Alphon Corvette third, as the Gigawave team went for a home win. The prototypes qualified in a separate 20-minute session after the GT cars, and P2 pole went, no surprise, to the Kiefel ASM of Olivier Pla.
It was important to score a pole today, even we were champion before that, but I'm happy. I think for tomorrow is going to be a hard race, but well, we also want to finish by a victory, so we're going to push hard, and we should get a good result at the end, I think.
Well, that point for pole would have decided the LMP2 title, even if Racing Box had entered the fray. But in their absence, Speedy Racing Team Sabar Runaway Challenge leader in the Michelin Green X Challenge was second fastest. Johnny Kane behind the wheel, while Tommy Erdos put the RML Lola Mazda third in class. Pla's pole time was a second quicker than anybody else managed, but in practice, he'd been 4 seconds quicker. At the front of the field, Nicolas Lapierre took a surprise pole for the number 10 Orica AIM.
It's important for us because we are on the position that we can win the race tomorrow, and we haven't won any race this year, so it would be very important for us to get a win at least this year, and it's as well a very good preparation for Petit Le Mans, which is in 2 weeks. So for us, it's both. It's a good challenge and the preparation.
Title favourite Stefan Mook in the 007 Aston Martin was second fastest, ahead of the 008 Aston of Darren Turner.
First row is very good. We know that our car is not so good here. We know that Orica and Pescarolo have very strong cars here. So yeah, first row is all right for us.
It's a bit of a disaster for the title ambitions of the Pescarolo team, though. Jean-Christophe Bouillon went off on his outlap and would be forced to start from the back row of the grid.
So good to start at the back of the grid. So anyway, it's a long race. It's not a 1 hour race. So we still have our chance.
Also starting from the back row, the number 15 Audi after Christian Albers 2 went off during qualifying. Their sister car fared better, qualifying 6th overall, and its driver Andy Merrick gives us a guided tour of Silverstone.
Hi and welcome to Silverstone. It's the home of British motorsport. My name's Andy Merrick and we're going to do a lap of the Grand Prix circuit in my Audi R10. Okay, so you're through Woodcott and you're starting a flying lap. You're approaching the first corner, which is Copse. You're down 1 gear into 4th. About 150 mile an hour there. You've got to be very, very smooth to get a good exit. There's a long straight down to Maggotts and Beckett's. You approach the left-right, little brake, very hard over the curve, down to 3rd gear now for the left-hander. You've got to be very smooth and get the car over to the left. Early to the right and early on the power again. 3rd gear accelerating, bit of a slide, 4th, 5th gears, down the hanger straight, down to Stowe corner. It's a very bumpy circuit this. A lot of bumps, going down to Stowe incredibly quick, about 300 kilometers an hour. Down to 3rd gear, turn in early, get the apex there from Stowe corner. Exit is blind there, so very difficult to see. Up to 4th gear. Up to the chicane here, bit of traffic in the way. Down to 2nd gear. Very, very slow, very difficult. Hook it over to the right, accelerate, short shift, 3rd, 4th. You're waiting for the car to get out of the way, and then you can go up to the next Abbey chicane. Get to the right-hand side so you can brake nice and straight for the Abbey chicane. Brake as late as you can, car moving around, hit the first apex there, try and pick up the throttle. Don't slide the car on the exit for best traction into Bridge Corner, the famous Bridge Corner. Flat if you can, only in qualifying. Bit of traffic here in the way into Prix. Very difficult left-hand corner. Very blind on the entry. And then next left-hander, very, very difficult. Tricky left-hander. Losing traction there, as you can see on the right-hand side as the Diesel R10 slides. Into Luffield, the last corner. Really critical for your exit here so you can get across the start-finish line. And into Woodcott. As soon as you can get past this back marker, you're flat out for another flying lap of Silverstone circuit, GP. That was a lap of the Grand Prix layout here at Silverstone. I hope you enjoyed it. Make sure you watch us during the race and hopefully we can have a good result. Thanks.
So let's take a look at the Silverstone Grand Prix circuit then. Start-finish line in the top right-hand corner of the screen. The race will be clockwise around the 16 corners of the Grand Prix circuit. And as the drivers line up on the grid, crowds gathering on a warm end of summer weekend, not just in the grandstands, but packing the spectator banks around the area and in the paddock as well. So after 2 hot and sunny days of practice and qualifying, all eyes on the cars as they form up. Drivers looking for championship titles in their respective classes, and lots of home support for Aston Martin Racing. 50 years since Aston Martin last won Le Mans and the World Sports Car Championship. Could they do it again? Well, heading off behind the safety car, 3 Gulf-liveried Lola Aston Martins in the LMP1 class, and an Aston in GT1 and in GT2 as well. Plenty for the local fans to support. Well, the pole position car, the Orica AIM, didn't get away well. An excellent start for 007 Lola Aston. Stefan Mook sweeping into the lead as they hit the first corner. 009 slotted into 3rd with Darren Turner behind the wheel on the run-up to Copse for the first time. Nicola Lapierre weaving in the Orica AIM in 2nd place. The red and silver Speedy Sabar Racing Lola of Andrea Bellicchi held 4th place ahead of Chris Buncombe. Nigel Mansell making his way up through the field. Team L&T's Janetta Zytek qualified 5th, but was dropped down the order after an engine change following qualifying. Pescarolo started even further back on the final row, but Jean-Christophe Bouillon was already passing Mansell, just 25 seconds behind the lead car of Stefan Mook and passing everything in sight. The pair continue to progress through the field. Mansell passing the front-running LMP2 cars with ease. And the Pescarolo already into the lead group, diving by Narayan Karthikeyan. GT2 pole sitter Richard Leeds hadn't had such a good start, however. The 77 Felbermeyer Proton Porsche struggled from the off.
Yeah, I mean, at the start it's always difficult because it's a 1,000K race and we don't want to go any risks. So Richard was very careful at the start. He's running in safe position 6. I think Jimmy had a really bad start. He had some problems in the first lap, so we just have to wait and see. We just want to run consistently and finish the race. That's our main goal, and then we will see.
At the front, the Oreca was falling back down to third.
Did a pretty good job. The start was okay. Now the 4 car was together. I think we need to wait and see because the race is very long. But I think we're on the pace. Is what we need to do.
After a fantastic start, it was all starting to go wrong for Nigel Mansell. The right rear suspension on the Team LNT Ginetta Zytec failed. Broken wishbone, forcing him into the pits.
So I don't think it's terminal, but it's going to be a long delay, and hopefully he'll get out to get some laps on the car. Hitting a bit too hard to start with, but the car is really coming good. Strategy is to get the car good on all tyres, so that's looking good, but we've just got to get this fixed and get back out there.
No such problems for the Pescarolo, though, having passed the Oreca for 4th place. Jean-Christophe Bouillon set about Andrea Bellicchi in the Speedy Subaru, racing Lola Judd for 3rd position. His next target was Darren Turner in the 009 Lola Aston Martin. A slide wide, contact, but the Pescarolo was through. The pit stops began as the Pescarolo moved up towards the front of the field. Aston Martin 008, the first of the front runners to come in. Tommy Erdos also making an early stop from 4th in the LMP2 class. The Embassy Racing car and the Speedy Subaru Racing Lola also in. Out on track, 007 Aston and the Pescarolo in traffic. And Bouillon taking full advantage of the situation, finding his way around for the lead of the race. As the pit stops continued, Nicolas Lapierre brought in the number 10 Oreca AIM. Olivier Pla was in too in the Kiefel ASM car, allowing Johnny Kane to briefly lead in LMP2 in the 2nd Speedy Subaru Lola Coupe until he too made a stop. 007 Aston Martin and the Pescarolo both stopped together. The Pescarolo extending its lead from 6 seconds on the way into 13 on the first lap out on fresh tyres. As Henri Pescarolo had said, it's a long race, they still had a chance. Maximo Cortez ran wide at Copse in the Hash Team Lucchini, but recovered. And there was no lasting damage for the Pescarolo and number 14 Collins Audi after they collided in Beckett's. Having dominated the LMP2 class all weekend with the title secure, Olivier Pla had been leading comfortably until just under an hour was complete. But problems striking the car almost immediately. With 1 hour of the Silverstone 1,000 kilometres gone, the Pescarolo of Jean-Christophe Bouillon led from the number 10 Oreca AIM, the 13 Speedy Subaru Lola in 3rd, and the title leading Aston Martin 007 in 4th place. Plenty of action and excitement. 4.5 hours more racing left to go. With 1 hour gone in the Silverstone 1,000 kilometres, the Pescarolo Judd of Jean-Christophe Bouillon that started from the back row of the grid, leading from the pole-sitting Oreca AIM. Speedy Subaru Lola team in 3rd position. Speedy Racing's Johnny Kane leading in the LMP2 category as well. A good result so far for the local team.
Our goal for this weekend is to win the championship, so We can see that Pescarolo is very quick, and that probably our pace in the race is not as quick as them. So we try to get the points we need for the championship, and that's our goal.
The Lola Aston Martin team battle for the outright championship. Johnny Kane inherited the P2 lead after Olivier Pla retired the Kiefel ASM car.
Well, we were leading the race easily. After my first stint, I had a problem with the fuel pressure, and I couldn't bring the car back to the pit lane. You know, I had no fuel pressure at all, so it was the end of the race.
There was good news, though, for Team LNT. Their Ginetta was finally fixed and on its way out of the pits, with Nigel Mansell back behind the wheel, though many laps down on the class leaders. And those class leaders were the 007 Aston Martin in third place, 19 seconds behind the number 10 Orica AIM, with the number 16 Pescarolo still out in front, but about to run into trouble. In traffic, a tap from the number 12 Signature Plus Orica sees Bouillon spun around. It could have been a real disaster, but luckily he got going again, while Henri Pescarolo crossed everything. In the LMP2 category, Benjamin Leuenberger sharing the Speedy Subaru Lola with Johnny Kane.
It's going very well for us. Our race speed is very good so far. Unfortunately, the Ginetta Zeitec had a problem, and because of that, we're in the lead now. That's very lucky for us, but of course, we would have loved to beat him on the track, and not in this case. But again, we have a good race pace. We're leading at the moment, and we desperately need this win today.
Into the next round of pit stops, cars number 10 and 13 pitting again in LMP1, and Tommy Erdos coming in from P2 as well. Next into the pits was the 008 Lola Aston Martin of Chris Buncombe. Pit stops are a vital part of endurance racing, and as Chris Buncombe explains, it's crucial to get them right.
In a 1,000-kilometre race, you're making many stops, normally once every hour, so really the key to a successful race is limiting the time that you're stationary in the pit lane. Drivers probably got the easiest job in the pit stop. There's a lot of pressure on the rest of the guys. There's a lot you think about on your in-lap. I mean, obviously it's important to have a fast in-lap because you can give away a lot of time, on that. It's critical, as is the entry to the pit lane. But on the way in, you have to think about loosening belts for the driver getting in, unplugging your drink and radio, of course pit limiter. But it's important to have everything ready for the driver that's getting in.
So let's meet the pit team.
Craig Christian, refueler. Refuel the car usually once every hour during the race. We have 2 refuelers on each car. There's a refueler on one side and a vent man on the other. Fuel goes in on one side of the car, and the air that's expelled out of the fuel tank comes out on the other side.
Elliot Muse, right-hand wheels. I've worked for Aston Martin Racing for 4.5 years, working on the GT1 cars and then the LMP1 cars. In 2006, we won a race by 0.3 of a second, so any mishap in the pit can lose you the race. And when we're in the situation that we're in now, trying to win the championship, that could make or break the race.
My name's Jonathan Woodward. Everybody on the team calls me Woody. I'm the car controller. None of it's particularly difficult as long as it's well practiced and well rehearsed, which we try and do. So we try and know what we're going to do and make sure we do it properly when the car comes in. One of the things that can be a problem is if everyone comes in together it's very difficult to get the car into the pit properly because the car before or the car after you may be in the way. So getting the car positioned probably can be the most difficult thing. Some terrible things can go wrong. You know, the driver arrives, parks the car in the wrong place, gets out of the car, the fuel pipe won't reach. There's a catalogue of things that can go wrong.
Obviously, there's potential dangers always with fuel going in. You know, a lot of people around the car that comes into the pit box very fast. So, yeah, it's a dangerous place to be. But fortunately, I've not experienced any problems as yet.
No problems for the 007 Aston Martin. Jan Chareur's taking over the helm from Stefan Mook here. The Pescarolo pitting once more, and again, as they change, they hold their lead.
And the car was quite good at the beginning, but after a few laps we had a lot of problems with the front tires, especially with the front. A lot of understeering, so we had to change one side during the first pit stop, which cost us some time. At the second stint it was the same. We are struggling with the front tires at the moment. We don't know why. We can't get them up to temperature, so we have a lot of understeering, which makes us a bit slower than we could be able to do.
After 2 hours, the Pescarolo continues to lead from the Oreca, with the Aston Martin Lolas running third and fourth. 33 speedy Subaru Lola heads the LMP2 field firmly inside the top 10. In the GT1 class, in green, the number 60 Aston Martin is ahead of number 50 Labra Celine, and the Corvette lying third in that category. The GT1 class, it's now the 76 IMSA Performance Racing Porsche, leading from Team Modena's Ferrari. And the JMW Ferrari number 92, challenging for the championship, is in third. The 77 Porsche just holding the edge. But there was more problem in store for the GT2 points leaders.
We're missing one cylinder, and we don't have any power on the straight line. So we're going on probably 4 seconds slower than the normal top times we could do. So it's very disappointing, and I don't know, we're going flat out, but at the moment we are out of the points. After the pit stop, we're using a lot of fuel, more than normal, so we are in big trouble.
Joining them in the garage, the race leader, the Pescarolo.
It seems that it is again a problem with the gearbox, you know, we don't understand why. Because we have changed everything in the gearbox, everything was new. And we had the same problem, oil pressure in the gearbox, oil temperature in the gearbox, so I think it's finished.
And that put the number 10 Oreca AIM back into the lead.
It's a very stressed race because, as you can imagine, it's very good to be leading the race. But the most important thing since Friday we are arriving there is to try to win that race. After having done the pole position, it's very important to win this race. And we have just to keep in mind that we are just at mid-race, which means it's still, again, very long. Everything can happen. I think it's very important that the drivers stay really relaxed to avoid the mistake, because in the second part of the race is usually when you start to do some mistake, and it's important that Nicolas and Olivier are doing just a perfect job and to be concentrated.
After 30 minutes at standstill, the Pescarolo finally re-emerges with Christophe Tanso back behind the wheel, returning to the track in 30th place. Like the Pescarolo, the 23 Stracker Racing car started at the back of the grid, but unlike the Pesca, it hadn't been close to challenging for race victory. With Nick Leventis behind the wheel, it spun at Brooklands while running in 9th. Aston Martin brought the 007 Lola in for another regular pit stop. At the same time, 009 took the lead with Harold Primat. 2 hours and 45 minutes down in the Silverstone 1,000 kilometres. Still looking good for Aston Martin Racing. 007's championship contending drivers Thomas Enger, Jan Chareur's and Stefan Mook right in the heart of the action. But Oreca looking good for overall victory. No changes in LMP2, GT1 or GT2. Speedy Subaru leading. The Gigawave Aston in charge of GT1, and in GT2, the IMSA Matmut Performance Porsche on top of the pile. But the 33 Speedy Subaru Lola Coupe continuing to lead in LMP2.
for once the luck is on our side, not on the other side. So we have to cross the finger, stay like this, and keep cool and finish first. I think that all the team and also the driver deserve it because we pass really close from the beginning of the season until now.
The long-time leader in the GT2 class, the IMSA Performance Porsche, forced out after ending up in the gravel in an incident while being lapped by a faster car. 92 Ferrari was also damaged, but that made it back to the pits. The Porsche, meanwhile, ended up being dragged out by a snatch vehicle. On board, Rob Bill and Gianmaria Bruni's Ferrari, bringing it back in with a puncture. But for the Porsche, dramas were even worse.
It just tell me the car was in a gravel. I think the 92 have a problem too. I think it's a contact with the Zytek, but I don't know really the problem.
Well, with repairs done, the 92 Ferrari returned to the race.
It's incredible. You go from being third and just racing for third to leading the race in the space of one lap. So, I mean, it's unfortunate for the Porsche and the Bruni car and Bell car, but I'll just have to see what happens the rest of the race. We were unfortunate in Germany, so maybe we get some luck this week.
Throughout the season in Le Mans Series, we've seen Leo Mansell behind the wheel of the Team Modena number 84 Ferrari. This weekend, his brother Greg and father Nigel are racing against him, as the Mansells make it a family affair.
If you were to ask me sort of 20 years ago, would I be here literally driving an LMP1 car, you know, with the Ginetta and Lawrence, with the Zytek engine, with Greg as my teammate, I would have said you're crazy.
He's always been very clever with giving me a car to mess around with in the garden. I've always done some track days, and I've always known I'm a good driver, but at the time I was good at golf as well, and I never really had to take it seriously like any kid. And it got to the age where I was like, now I got to change my life around and really go for it, and luckily I did.
You know, I was hoping they were going to go into golf, and I was a mistake there, but you know, they're in racing, they're pursuing a career, and all credit to them and all good luck to them, because it's a tough ask, it really is, and you learn every year, and I just hope the sponsors are out there and the support's out there for them to continue.
I was reluctant definitely on my parents' part. I can understand why. It's a very difficult sport and business to be in, a lot of ups and downs, but we eventually won our corner and got a shot to go karting, and it's kind of snowballed from there.
We just had a serious conversation when I got to the age where it was make or break, and we decided to go with it, and he's been a fantastic support ever since.
I'm very proud of both Leo with Team Modena and Ferrari. To have them in the next pits to us is something very special, and I think, as I said, from a standing start, Leo and Greg in the last 4 years have had a tremendous amount of experience on both sides of the Atlantic, and to be where they are with their careers now is something very special.
It's very hard catching up with the field of people starting when they're 8, 9 years old, but I think we've made good progress over the last few years, and we're in a good position now.
You have to grow up overnight. I mean, all these racing drivers now, the young kids, I mean, it's amazing. I mean, I'm only 21 years old, but I've been a professional driver now for 4 years, so you've really got to compete with the guys who've been in it 10, 12 years or more. You've got to step up, and I think it's very difficult to do, but if you love something enough, you've got to do it, and you want to do it.
It's been a fast track, and you know, now to think Greg and I are partnering in LMP1 with Ginetta and the Zytek with Lawrence is something very, very special with the Ginetta. And Leo too, I feel very privileged to be associated myself with Team Modena.
It's going to be fun, and it's going to be a great experience to have all of us racing at the same time. Very enjoyable for the fans, I think, to have my dad racing again here, especially at Silverstone, so it's going to be a big day.
Championship contending 007 Lola Aston Martin very nearly taken out of the race, coming upon a collision between a Courage and another Zytek. Courage trying to go up the inside of Claude-Yves Gosselin's Zytek, wasn't far enough to take the corner. That left Gosselin with a puncture, limping back to the pit lane, and a drama for the Lola Aston it could have done without. Also in the pits, number 13 car, the LMP2 leader from the speedy Sabar crew, but that was not a dramatic moment, it was a standard pit stop. Nico Prost hanging over to Marcel Fassler after leading the race.
It's going great. I didn't think it would be that good because the qualifying we were a bit deep behind. But in the end we have a very good pace. The tires are very good, very consistent. So now the race is still long, but so far everything going as good as it can.
Well, as the Speedy Sabar team led both LMP1 and LMP2 categories. Philip Pater had only just taken over the number 41 machine, running 5th in the LMP2 class before being pushed back into the garage. Not a conventional pit stop coming up for the Pescarolo, running 17 laps behind the lead of the LMP1 class, recovering after its delay. In the GT2 class, the 77 Felbermeyer Proton Porsche, for which the class titler looked a formality, struggled on with 5 of its 6 cylinders operating. Down in 9th position, the 92 Ferrari led in GT2. 009 Aston into the pits, running in 4th. Like clockwork, 6th place for the number 12 Signature Plus car, Pierre Rag behind the wheel. Aston bringing in 008 Stuart Hall, driving the middle stint of the race, and the LMP2 leading Speedy Subaru Lola had an uncomfortable few minutes, not only stalling on its way out of the pits, it was then to run into trouble with competitors. A collision with the 28 Courage. Back in GT1, the Gigawave Aston Martin DBR9 of Peter Cox and Ryan Sharp was leading the class.
Oh, it's perfect. The team is doing, the Gigawave team is doing a good job. It's the first time they take the car out of this year and we're in the lead, so we cannot ask for anything more. But it's still a lot of work and it's still a lot of time before the race is over, so still a lot can happen.
With 137 laps completed, Christian Bakkerud's Audi running in 4th, being run down by Darren Turner's Lola Aston Martin. 4 hours into the Silverstone 1,000 kilometres and plenty of action yet to come. Stay with us.
Partner of endurance racing and Mitchell & Greenix Challenge.
Silverstone 1,000 kilometres being led by Marcel Fassler in the Speedy Subaru Lola Judd after 4 hours of racing. 007 Lola Aston Martin chasing it. This car, the number 12 Signature Plus Orica, running in 7th place. The team pretty happy with their progress so far. Time for more pit stops, and the race-leading Speedy Subaru Lola fell from 1st to 3rd when it came in. Thomas Engert inheriting the lead.
For the moment, all is right. The target is finish the race and to finish 6th time on the 6th race. So for us, it's a good performance. It's on the way. And definitively, it's a good season, and we learn a lot, and we keep a strong experience for the future. We will be there. With this car, with I think a strong update regarding aerodynamic and mechanical, and we expect to fight a little bit more in the on the front.
British-based Team WFR had been running 11th at the end of the first 4 hours, but their challenge started to unravel. The car ending up being wheeled into the garage for some remedial work.
Really disappointing, you know, the whole crew here has been working really hard. They had to pull an all-nighter for the crash that I had on Friday at Beckett's, and then we had an engine problem yesterday, so they had to come in at 2 o'clock this morning. So this is a problem, an alternator problem, and like you say, it's a real shame because we were battling for 2nd place, and with only a couple of hours to go. It's a problem we've never had before this car, but obviously it's the first race of the year for us. with this car. He raced last year, but you know, it's just probably one of the still teething problems of getting back going. So hopefully they can get it back going, but we're losing laps all the time, so taking us out of contention.
In the LMP1 class, Thomas Enger was still leading from Nicolas Lapierre in the number 10 Oreca AIM, but the Aston was about to encounter some traffic. Aston Martin racing boss George Howard-Chappell paying the Collis Audi team a visit just before Andy Merrick let Thomas Enger through.
They were very nice, actually. One of their cars was holding up the Euro 7 and the car was a lap down, so it's normal for them to let us by, and they were very nice about it.
Driver change for the number 92 Ferrari, Jimmy Bruni replacing Rob Bell in the car, which was still leading GT2, but their championship rivals, the 77 Felbermeyer Proton Porsche, now up to 8th and in a position to win the title. Thomas Enger leading in LMP1 till his pit stop, when the Oreca of Nicolas Lapierre retook the lead. Strongly in the GT2 category was the Drayson Racing Aston Martin of Lord Paul Drayson and Johnny Cocker. This could be the final outing for the car. The team's taken delivery of a brand new Lola LMP1 machine, which will be raced at Petit Le Mans in America and in Asia this year, and for the whole of next season. So an emotional weekend for Paul Lord Drayson and his team.
This is our new car. We're going to be racing it for the first time just over a week in Road Atlanta for the Petit Le Mans race. It's a Lola Coupe with a Judd V10 engine, and it had its first shakedown here in Silverstone on Thursday. Went flawlessly. We did about 40 laps, all good. It flies out to America on Monday, and we love it.
I had a drive of it, the first drive, just in a shakedown test on the Stowe circuit yesterday, and that was my first experience of a P1 car or any car with proper downforce, and it was pretty impressive, really. Very, very quick car, but everything kind of made sense. You know, it all, you know, everything that I expected was there, and I think it'll take a little bit of, you know, adaptation to the car, but I'm not worried really. I'm really looking forward to it.
Into the final hour of the race, Oreca number 10 pitting for the last time, giving up the lead to the number 13 Speedy Savard Lola Coupe of Marcel Fassler, with Thomas Enger second in the Lola Aston Martin.
But just now the ACO asked us to change the front cover because it was some part were getting away, so we lost like 30 seconds.
So with 5 hours of racing on and only a few laps to complete, it couldn't be tighter at the head of the field. And in P2, the number 33 Speedy Savard Lola Coupe still leading not only its class but also the Michelin Green X Challenge. Ryan Sharp led GT1 in the Gigawave Aston Martin, and in GT2 the title battle swung to and fro between the 92 Ferrari and the 77 Porsche.
At the moment, we are leading the race, as you say, which is fantastic. But the 77 car is in 8th place, which means at the moment it is 1 point ahead of us in the championship, so it is really close. Anything can happen. We've still got 1 hour, more or less, so they might have another problem, but at the moment, we are 1 point away.
Speedy Racing's last stop. Oreca got revenge for its delay by reporting them to the stewards. Speedy also having to change the louvers over the front wheel, costing them an extra pit stop and the lead of the race. That put the Oreca back out in front from Darren Turner's 009 Lola Aston Martin. The Speedy Savard car rejoining third ahead of Thomas Enger. 15 minutes later, 009 made its pit stop with 4 laps to go, allowing 007 to take the final podium position. And having missed the 4th round of the Le Mans Series at Nürburgring 3 weeks weeks ago. The Orica team returned in style with a first-ever victory for Nicolas Lapierre and Olivier Panis. Speedy Racing Team Savar's Lola was second, 007 Lola Aston Martin third, and crowned as champions. Celebration for all three teams. A great race for the Speedy Savar crew, leading outright and in LMP2 close to the end, but their class-winning LMP2 car, as it slowed to celebrate at the finish line, was hit from behind by the number 12 Signature Orica, which then bounced into the pit wall. In the GT2 class, the battle raged right to the end. The number 92 Ferrari won the battle, but not the war. The spoils of the championship going to the Felbermayr Proton Porsche number 77. Just 1 point in it at the end of the season. So confirmation of the result and victory for the first time for the Orica team. Speedy Savar in second ahead of the 007 Lola Aston Martin, with Speedy Savar also claiming LMP2 honours.
Yeah, it was really fantastic, but it was really tough race. I think we did a very good job with Nico, but the team did a good job also. The strategy was fantastic, but for me it was the most difficult race during the season.
I mean, at the beginning of the race we did struggle a little bit. That's why we decided to change a little bit the strategy, stop a little bit earlier, and it did work really well. Olive did a great job. The team as well managed to get a really nice strategy. I'm very happy to finish the season of the LMS like this.
It's an amazing feeling, and we've been hoping for this the whole year, and that's the best thing we could do, and finishing on the podium is great as well.
It's a great result. The team took a lot of control this weekend. You know, it's often difficult. You go to the final round of the championship and you want to try and win in your home event, but the championship's what we came here for, and to celebrate Aston Martin victory 50 years after we won the World Sports Car Championship, a great way to end the year.
Keith Hill ASM team wins the LMP2 title. Speedy Racing's victory at Silverstone makes them in second. But what happened to Xavi Pompidou at the end?
Destroy my rear. It gave me a little bit of pain in my back here, but really nothing. So I'm really lucky in that unlucky thing. So yeah, it's good for the show and for the TV. I'm sure that I will see it a lot of time, but it's not really nice when it happens to you.
At the beginning was not easy to know what we could have done, because we had a new car this year, so we had to learn about this car. And but I have to praise the work of the team, because they've been working a lot and they did a fantastic job. And we made a progress every race. So at the end we took the title. We did triple to win and one podium. So we can be proud of it.
So Olivier Pla and Miguel Amaral are the LMP2 champions. And in the GT1 class, Luc Albon returning with the team, and they claim the GT1 title already. The race in GT1 won at Silverstone by Peter Cox and Ryan Sharp in their Gigawave Aston Martin, as the team retires it with a final victory at Silverstone.
New teammate, new team, new championship for me. Great to come here, local race, and to get a result for the Gigawave team. You know, it's their first international race win, so it's fantastic to give them a good send-off to the end of the season.
And confirmation of the GT2 leaderboard. Victory for the 77 Felbermayr Porsche was sealed by just 2 points from the JNW Ferrari at the end of a dramatic GT2 race for everybody concerned.
It's been a great season. I mean, it was fantastic working with the team and fighting with a clear fight with the Porsche guys. And unfortunately, we have too much bad luck this season. I think we have 0 points in Nürburgring, and we were 1 lap ahead of everybody after 2 hours. We have the problem on the last pit stop in Spa. We lost 4 points there.
We missed a 6th cylinder, and so we're running on 5 cylinders for almost the whole race. And then you're fighting and you're trying to fix it, not losing too much time in the pit lane, and then just to score. We needed 1 point and we scored 2. It's amazing. I cannot believe it. Still cannot believe it.
Having finished second in the LMP2 Championship and second in the Le Mans 24 Hours, Speedy Sabah Racing Team guarantee themselves an entry to the 2010 Le Mans 24 Hours by also winning the Michelin Green X Challenge. A huge race weekend at the end of a huge championship for Bart and Hugh Hayden's small team. So that's it for the Silverstone 1,000 kilometres, the final race of the 2009 Le Mans Series. And with an Asian Le Mans Series race coming up later in the autumn, there's plenty more sports car racing in store. But now's the time to plan for next year's 24 du Mans and get ready for Le Mans Series 2010.